Good morning, my beautiful people, and welcome back to SUNUP on 7. So just before the break, Miriam and I had a very interesting talk, and we're jumping into our first conversation for this morning. Now, when we think war, we usually something, negative and what's not, but we're here talking about men of war, and this is something very positive that you need to stay tuned to. On the couch with us this morning is the founder and leader of Men in War, Mr. Corny Duick, as well as the assistant leader of the Men of War, Mike Kong. And we'll be discussing what it is all about, as well as, such as raising men and changing the city on a whole. So good morning to both of you.
Hey, good morning.
Welcome to our couch. How are you both doing?
I'm doing amazing.
Mr. Mike, you're doing good?
Good, very good. Glad to be back.
Right, great. So let's start off this conversation by educating our people. What is Men of War?
Yes. Okay, Men of War is we're a group of men that I started a little over a year ago, where I train and raise up men to take back our masculinity and fatherhood and manhood, to become great fathers, husbands, and men, and overall sons. And how it started is that I went to a boot camp, Banner Brothers boot camp, that we're starting. It was canceled during COVID, but starting up again. Mm-hmm. It's a boot camp for just men, and where they just teach us and who we were created to be, who God made us to be. We're warriors. We're the ones who need to fight. We're the ones who need to protect our families. When I came back, I just felt God saying, you know what, Corny? It is your time to start a group, and you start teaching men. Mm. And so I started talking about it, and I just felt I should do it. And the more I talked to men, I realized that we men we have really backed off, right? And there's different reasons why we men have kind of like just backed into the corner and let the woman do everything, which is not the way it should be. We men are supposed to be the foundation of the families. We're supposed to be the protection of the families. And so I started this group. And so what we do is when we meet Monday nights, right? So last night we were meeting. But what we do is we do a lot of vulnerable talks, right? Where we come together and we open up the table for men to share their weaknesses, their strengths, their vulnerabilities. Mm-hmm. And you might say, but why? The thing is that we as men, we are very protective of ourselves. Mm-hmm. We men, if we have a tiny thought in our head that we are going to be run down or thrown to the side, we're not going to share our weakness. We're not going to share our downfalls. We're going to protect it with all costs, right? And so, but the thing is that what happens a lot is that if we do that we build up things on ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And one day we explode and we beat our wives and beat our kids, we beat our boss, we curse out everybody, and we say, how in the world did this happen? Like, that's not who I am. But why? Because we've been keeping it inside.
Right.
So this place, we have this Man of War is a place for men to belong to, where you can share your struggles, you can share your weaknesses, like, me, today or this week I was going through, I had so much fight with loss, I couldn't keep my eyes where it should be, or this week I had an argument with my wife and it escalated and this happened, and and we as men are there to teach him and to walk with them and not to throw him under the bus, right?
Corny, I love that you have said that, and I want to commend you on this, because just last week, Tuesday, we had a discussion about some of the recent deaths by suicide.
Yeah.
And men not having such a safe place to be vulnerable. So I do commend you on creating this space for men, a safe space for men to actually be vulnerable in that nature, not internalizing anything like that, but having the ability to express and without being judged, right?
Exactly.
So, Mr. Mike, I want to ask this question to you. This Men of War now, what have you seen recently that has impacted our men here in Belize, and how can we go about changing that?
I think the basic core is the family's the issue.
Okay.
And we need men to be leaders of the family. Not the mothers have a place. They have all the time of raising and all that time, but men need to have a place of leading the family. And being a part of a Men of War, we realize there's a war, there's a battle for men to rise up and take their place as the head of the family. And the place that we will gather together, it's a place where we can try to build trust. If you build trust among men, then they can be open and vulnerable. You're not going to share your heart if you don't trust people. And we want to create a place where we trust one another. Just build and just get together. And I appreciate Corny and our leaders just being vulnerable to the men, sharing his struggles. Not the perfect pastor, not the perfect man, but just sharing his struggles. And as he shares his vulnerability, it kind of lowers our areas of vulnerability. We begin to identify with his struggles. Hey, we struggle the same way. And so we're trying to build an area of trust, not judging, but just build relationship that we really care for them, that we have a vision for them to rise up and be leaders of their families, that we can see a change in our city.
All right.
I live in a neighborhood ghost town. You know, they call it ghost town. I call it Holy Ghost Town. I'm changing the narrative
Yes.
of my community.
I love that.
And, you know, we've had some of these men come to Band of Brothers, and there's been a change. And I appreciate that. And we're trying to teach these men. And we realize that they've never been fathered. They've never been fathered, raised by grandmothers, aunties, uncles, but they've never had a male figure, no fathers in their lives. And we want to change that cycle of beginning to raise up men, fathers, that love their children, that love their wives, don't demand their wives, but lay down their lives for their family. So this is our core mission, is to really get after these men because they're fathers, they're brothers, they're examples to others. And if men can be mentors, then we can begin to change the dynamics of our community and our neighborhood and our families. So that's our goal.
All right.
We're going to fight for it.
And that's such a beautiful, amazing goal. And like Brandon was saying, I just want to commend you both for the work that you're doing, because it's really needed and amazing. It's something that I've seen that was needed, you know, in not my own family, that's needed in the community. So the fact that you guys are taking this up upon yourselves and doing something about it is very meaningful and making a change.
If we don't, who will?
Exactly. And so, I mean, it's so much that you're doing. You're kind of reparenting in a way for these men and providing a support group, because like you said, if you don't feel supported, you don't feel safe, then you won't share. And I think what happens is sometimes with men and from young boys, I remember one time I heard my neighbor, she was beating her child, and she was like, "Stop, Bob, be a man, be a man." I'm like, he's 3. That's, you know, so there's like a different shift in the way that men are viewed and how men are viewed. It's like, well, if you're not this way, then, you know, you're not a real man. Or it's like you're being stuffed in this corner where you can't win. Whatever way you can't win or, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So this is allowing them to remember their humanity as men, you're a human being at first, and that, you know, you need to lead with that and lead with the heart. So thank you guys again for this amazing work. And I wanted to get into something that you said, Mr. Mike. You said Band of Brothers. So we're talking about Men of War, but is Band of Brothers an umbrella underneath the Men of War?
I'll let Corny explain that, because he's our head.
Okay.
So Banner Brothers is boot camps that we do, and these are being done in Belize, in the States, Canada, Guatemala. So it's a group of men that are doing the same thing we're doing at Man of War.
Okay.
So Man of War is kind of not a, it's almost like an extension, because I am also a leader of Banner Brothers in Belize branch.
Okay.
But all of that is what Man of War was born, because I grew up, as you know, in the Mennonite community, and I moved to the city 20 years ago, and I see the problem, you know, and I grew up with my father, right? But even though I grew up with my father, there's things I don't know. And the thing is that you don't know, Brandon, what you don't know. Okay, so things that you were not taught how to be a man, you just don't know, you won't do them. So you can have a wife beating you up or yelling at you and wanting things you need to do, but if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
So my heart is to train up men how to be fathers, how to be husbands, right? Because I'm telling you, if we can train up a generation of men, we will eliminate crime to 0. Because why do boys go to crime? Because they want to be part of something bigger than themselves, and there's nobody there to love them, because you see,
nobody there to help deter them.
Yeah, and the boy grows up, but you know what? To really become a man, you need another man. See, we need our moms to nourish us, but we need our dads to teach us how to fight. And so if we don't know how to fight, we don't know how to fight for our families, right? And so this Man of War is a place where we fight. And so Banner Brothers is the boot camp that we take men.
Okay.
And when you go there, if you don't, you're gonna come back changed, either worse or better. But most of them become better, right?
Right.
Because you meet who you really are in core, right? Who you really are, you're gonna meet yourself. That's just it. It is very, very powerful.
So I want to ask then, for men that are interested in this, how can they get in contact with you guys? What you said you meet every Monday. Where do you meet? Things like
Okay. We meet at 99 Fabers Road Extension, which is at Life Church building. Like
Okay.
this is an extension ministry of Life Church.
Okay.
Because I'm the pastor there, so I just have it right there. So at 99 Fabers Road Extension, every Monday at 6 p.m. So we come together, and usually we have a little snack to hang out because men like to eat, right? and then we start our discussions. And then usually what we also do is we don't just sit there and talk, because that's so good. We need that, right? We need to talk. We need to vent. We need to, I just want to, thought just came, another day, one of the wives came to me and says, Pastor, what are you doing to the man? I said, why? She said, well, my husband went 3 times and he's a complete different person.
Oh, okay.
And so that are the reports coming out. Another man that we have there, he's just doing life different with his family. It's amazing. But so when we come together on 6 p.m., I'm all over the place, but anyway, we come together, we have a little snack, we discuss, we are vulnerable, we share, and then we do different series of messages towards men, towards manhood, towards how to be great fathers, how to be great husbands, And so, so every man 16 and older. I would not recommend younger than 16 because we talk a lot of, there's like intimate stuff that we talk about, the young boys might, So, but there's a phone number that you can call or text.
Yes, what's that number?
675
675
5433.
543.
That's a church number. If you have any questions, on that, just text that number. You can call, but we usually just have it on for texting because I have my office laying around.
Sure.
Right? So
Okay.
But you can text that number, but you can just come out on Mondays at 6 p.m. and I can guarantee you're gonna feel at home and you're gonna find a place to belong that men are longing for. I'm telling you, the men of Belize City are longing for a place to belong where they can be vulnerable and they can be themselves. They don't have to worry about the words they use, because you know what? If you come there and you're angry and you cuss up, I'm not gonna shut you down.
Yeah.
You know why? Because what is inside needs to come out.
Yes.
But you're at home, you don't want to do it. Your kids are there, your wife is there. But when you come to Man of War, if you're angry, you can let it out. Because we understand, we're all men.
Yeah.
When you come there, we're not gonna judge you. We're not gonna throw you under the bus. We're gonna like let you vent, and then we're gonna talk to you. We're gonna give you advice. We're gonna pray for you. We're gonna and even later on after a meeting, if I see you know what, you need some personal help. We provide that personal help for healing sessions to deal with your heart, your past, the trauma you dealt with. Because here's the deal, that the way all of us act, react, respond, the way we live is 100% a result of our past.
Right.
Okay? So if you've been brought up in an abusive home,
Very true.
what are you going to do? You're going to produce what you've been.
Right.
Unless you break that curse, unless you break that cycle, you're going to do the same thing.
Right.
I don't care how much you say, never going to do that.
Right.
You're going to do the
It might
same
come
thing.
out.
You
Or
are
if you
so
feel
true.
like people don't care about you, then you don't care about them. And it's
Yeah.
just this kind of
Exactly.
cycle and reaction. But as we start to wrap up here, can you just go over, do you have any dates coming up for the boot camp, for the Band of Brothers boot camp? Is there
we
a
do-
specific date? Because you're meeting Mondays,
Yes.
every Monday at 6 p.m., 99 Farbers Road Extension.
Yeah.
Is there a date coming up where if someone's like, I really want to do this
Yeah.
thing and they want to go to the boot camp, what is the date for that?
We don't have an exact, it's supposed to be in October.
Okay.
We're planning, but anybody who's going to keep up to date with, or you can text the number and I can let you know once it is. But if you come out to Man of War, you will know about it because I'm one of the leaders of Banner Brothers, so you'll know about it.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
we have in March. And every March we have one. We've been having it the last couple of years now again. And we're trying to bring in a second Banner Brothers a year. We're going to have it probably in Orange Walk. So we're planning to have one in PG and one in Orange Walk.
Great.
Once every year.
Great. I love, because that would have been my next question, if it's just for Belize City men or if it
No,
will be
the whole country.
expanded. But that's,
Yeah.
thank you so much for that. And is there any cost at all for this?
Yes, it's $200. But with that $200, you stay for the night. It's going to be Thursday,
This is
Friday,
for the
Saturday.
boot camp.
That's for the boot camp.
Okay, and for the actual
Man of War,
meetings?
we do collections because we do buy food. And
Okay.
we don't have we haven't found any Chinese man who give us food, right? So we have to pay for it. So we have just a collection that where man just give a collection to pay for it, right?
All right, great.
But at the same time, I haven't said it before we close. I want to say this, that my dream is not just being there together on Monday nights. What I want to do is I want to give back to the city. So as we build our foundation, I want to do the outreaches where we're going to go to the neighborhoods.
I love it.
We're going to take care of the old people. We're going to clean the streets. You might say clean the streets is for workers. No, but you know what? I only have influence into your life to the degree that you respect me and trust me. And so if I give to you, you open your heart. So
Yeah.
I want to influence the city. So I will give back to the city. I know that most people are begging the city council for everything, but I want to give back to them. Why? Because I want to be able to influence the city. So that's our heart. We're not there yet. We're just building a foundation. But eventually you're gonna see man of war all over the city, cleaning streets, cleaning parks, painting parks, giving back to the community. Why? Because that's what man do.
All right. Thank you so much for
Love
that,
that.
Corny. As we're wrapping up this segment, Mr. Mike, do you have any last words for our viewers out there?
Men of war produce fathers. And as Corny has a young family, I have an older family. My oldest son is like 42.
My age.
So I'm restoring, I'm building relationships with my family. Older generation, he's building a younger generation. And we're coming together because God is restoring relationships in families. And even though I'm older, I'm still working and building what God has for my kids. I was abusive, maybe as a father. You know, I didn't raise him right. So I'm going back over and asking him, forgive me.
Right.
You know, I abused you. I discipline you in anger and stuff like that. And so there's reconciliation with an older generation and younger generation. And we're bringing this to our men, saying, hey, we're all learning to be fathers.
I love that.
This is
That was
so
nice.
beautiful, right?
Right.
Brandon?
Thank you both for joining us today. I mean, we have commendations here. Keep up the great work. Wishing you well in this endeavor from our audience on the chat. Thank you. And yes, again, huge commendations from me for providing a safe space for men out there. Like you said, it's not only Belize City, but it's all over the country that you're doing this. And I thank you so much for that. It definitely is something that is needed here in Belize, and this is just one avenue that men out there you can take to actually help better yourselves, help better your family in that process, help better society in that process. So again, thank you both, gentlemen.
Hey.